Hey everybody, Papa Wiggs here with Wiggs. We're gonna do our Monday Night Football recap. Uh, last night's games. Boy, the Dolphins. Everybody really tears into Tua Wiggs, but they're just not the same without him out there. For a guy that gets criticized so much, that team does not look the same without him. I mean, Waddle and Hill can't get anything going without him. They started Snoop, that's his nickname, Snoop Huntley, yesterday, and yeah, they couldn't get. I mean, granted, Tennessee's defense is tough, right? But even so, you got two of the best receivers in the league. I mean, now granted, they were trying to get the ball in Hill's hands, so I'll give them a little bit of credit because they were handing the ball off to him and stuff, which was kind of weird. Um, for me, I couldn't believe how many carries he got. That just tells me that uh, they're not confident in trying to get the ball down the field with them right now. And so I'm hoping, I'm praying that Tua comes back quick. They're saying that there's a good chance that he's going to, um, come back. They said it'd be more surprising if he doesn't come back than if he does. So, and it could be sooner than later. So, at any rate, Tennessee kind of handled this one. They lost Levy's in this game. I don't remember what the injury was. Do you, Wiggs?
It was something with his shoulder when he landed, but it looked like he could have gone back in, but Rudolph was leading him down the field for some sort of scoring without making a mistake. So
Yeah, so I did read though that apparently after the game they said if he's healthy and good to go, he's going to be the starter. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. A couple bright sides, a couple bright sides on their team is at least their running backs were productive yesterday. Pollard had a total of 108 yards for a touchdown. Spears had a total of 39 yards for a touchdown. So their running backs were productive, which was really good. On the flip side, man, Miami's offense is just a hot mess. Achani can't get anything going. That's the other thing. Their running game is like stagnant right now. Would you agree,
yeah,
Wiggs? I mean, they can't get anything going. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get how they have so many great weapons in their rushing attack. I just don't understand how they can't get it going. And then that takes us into the game of the night. Wow. Lions and the Seahawks. What a game. I mean, I thought the Seahawks were definitely going to dominate this game from a defensive perspective. But boy, that offensive coordinator for the Lions, he was really creative yesterday. I mean, heck, St. Brown threw a touchdown to Goff. I mean, I haven't seen one of those plays in a few years for sure, and which was amazing. And Geno Smith almost threw for 400 yards. He had a total yards of 433 with one touchdown. Unbelievable. Walker had a great game, 116 yards and three touchdowns. Goff, he had a good game. He had 290 total yards and two touchdowns. Gibbs and Montgomery, I'm arguably are the best running back duo in the league. Wouldn't you agree,
yeah,
Wiggs? I mean, they have figured it out with those two. What a combination there. Hats off to the Lions. I didn't think that they were going to be able to pull this one off. They did manage to, get the lead, maintain the lead, and not blow it late in the game, which was um, really great. I mean, on a personal note, from my perspective, I was playing my other son, Little Wigs. You'll love that. And we were going back and forth. That was a game, wasn't it? And of course, the champ came out on top. But
after whining about it all night.
I was just playing with them. Anyways, boy, that was a great game. I mean, I like what the Seattle's doing though. I mean, Metcalf's been really involved. Walker's been involved. JSN is getting more involved in the offense. I mean, Lockett's still here and there. They still were using Charbonnet. I think Charbonnet still had a decent game, at least from a receiving perspective. This Seattle team, even though they lost, they're really good, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. If I was every team in the NFC, I would hope that Seattle doesn't make the playoffs because they're going to be tough. And Geno Smith, man, he looked really really good. Um, uh, so uh, so yeah, and then on the flip side, I thought the Lions. I mean, again, their offense is what really kind of led them the way they need to figure out what to do on their defense. I think they got a really good team, but they got to score a lot of points in order to win their games, depending on who they're playing. So I like what they're doing with their running backs. I think Williams is a really good complement to St. Brown. He's starting to show up, don't you think, Wiggs? And then Laporta at their tight end. So this Lions and Seahawks team, both of them, they're really good.
Yeah, both their offenses are really good. A little lackluster there on defense from the Seahawks last night, but at the end of the day, it wasn't necessarily just on their defense. Geno Smith threw a crucial interception at the end of the game. Literally, when they were within the 10-yard line, they could have scored and made it even closer and had a chance at getting the ball back and possibly finishing out another drive. There's a few drives in that game they just didn't finish out. I mean, Smith threw for he had over a total of 400 yards. You got to finish a few more drives there. You only had 3 touchdowns there behind your team. Obviously, 2 field goals isn't the worst thing, but when the Lions are clicking on all cylinders and scoring drive after drive after drive with their running backs, their quarterback, their wide receiver, you got to do a little bit more than just a field goal at times. But crucial interception there at the end, like I said, from Geno Smith. You take that away, they might have another chance for another drive and possibly tying up the game later on. But yeah, and then looking at the Lions, they looked really good. I mean, like you said, Gibbs and Montgomery have shown week in and week out last year and this year that they are easily the best running back duo in the league. They both are providing. You can start both those guys in any one of your fantasy weeks. And I mean, just take a look at it. Montgomery, goal line threat. He will get you a touchdown when they're within that 5-yard line. 40 of his yards yesterday just came off of one reception. So, I mean, he only ran for 40 yards, but a touchdown makes up for that. And then Gibbs, he actually wasn't involved in the receiving game at all yesterday, but he ran for 78 yards and had 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, these guys complement each other well, and they both can do it all. That touch on that Titans and Dolphins game a little bit. Huntley just was a little inaccurate at times last night as well. They were taking shots downfield to Hill. They at least attempted it 3 different times. He underthrew him twice, overthrew him once. I mean, we've said this before. Anyone can throw the ball to Tyreek. He burns the defenders, and he was wide open several times in that game. It was just a missed pass several times there from Huntley. So he still can be productive. It's just
he needs Tua back.
Yeah,
I mean, they've got the chemistry.
Yeah.
Same with Waddle. Waddle's got the chemistry. Tua knows where these guys are going to be, and he knows where to put the ball.
And once you get the ball into their hands, it's just going to make Achan's life a lot easier running the ball because it's a struggle right now, and their rookie running back was their leading rusher last night. Oh, I think Huntley was the leading rusher, and then the rookie running back was right after that. So,
and listen, just to touch on what Woods said a little bit here, I'm not worried about Geno Smith. I said, listen, the Lions, they kind of took the Seahawks a little bit out of their game, especially given the fact that they were winning by so much. The Seattle defense really kind of let them down. I think that put a lot more pressure on the offense. If you watched any of their earlier games, it's been more of a balanced between their defense and offense. And I don't disagree with you, Wiggs. You definitely gotta score touchdowns. But I also think when you're down by so much, that gives the advantage to the opposing defense because they know that you're going to have to pass the ball. Yeah. So I think that makes it more difficult on the quarterback, whoever it is, whether it's Geno Smith, Patty Mahomes, whoever it is, it's going to make it more difficult because they're going to have to try to get the ball into tight places just because there's so many more people that are dropped back in coverage. So I'm not worried about it. I think they're going to bounce back. I will say that I'm really impressed with Geno this year so far in fantasy. I got a feeling he's going to end up higher on everybody's rankings than they initially picked him out for point-wise. Would you agree with that, Wiggs?
Yeah, and their offense, I mean, they got a lot of weapons there around Smith. I know he hasn't had like the greatest highlight type career out there, but he's showing that with the Seahawks team, he's been pretty much consistent. A little bit of a lackluster year last year, but the year prior he was popping off. He's popping off this year again. He looks good. And that's all you can ask for. If your older quarterback and Geno Smith is looking good and you guys are winning games, that's all that matters. Like, yeah, you're going to take a loss here and there. You're not realistically going
I
to go
really think their
undefeated. So
defense kind of let them down yesterday. I mean, I think they kind of got, to me, maybe got exposed a little bit. So, but knowing their head coach, who's a defensive guru, he's gonna. I mean, he was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens last year. He's gonna get it. He's gonna make the corrections, and they're gonna bounce back. That's just my opinion. Anything else you want to add, Wiggs? All right, well, hey, everybody, check us out, Fantasy Fools PPR on YouTube. We're also out on Snapchat, X, TikTok, Instagram. Share, like, subscribe. If you got any lineup questions or feedback, reach out to us. Hopefully, you're finding this as another good resource for your fantasy football advice. So, with that, we'll see you next time.